Aeschylus, of government, the properties to unfold would seem in me to affect speech and discourse. Since I am put to know that your science exceeds in that the list of all advice my strength can give you, then no more remains but that to your sufficiency as your worth is able, and let them work. The nature of our people, our city's institutions, and the terms for common justice ye are as pregnant in as art and practice hath enriched any that we remember. There is our commission, from which we would not have you warp. Call hither, I say. Bid come before us, Angelo. What figure of us think you he will bear? For you must know we have with special soul elected him our absence to supply, lent him our terror, dressed him with our love, and given his deputation all the organs of our own power. What think you of it? Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Brian Jennings here, the critical sorcerer, the psychic scientist, the millennial dragon, the horse's ass. Right? This channel exists to discuss with the world at large the story of the movie Critic. Right? This channel exists to discuss my relationship with Quentin Tarantino and the movie Critic. I am the reason that Quentin canceled the movie Critic. And so we're here now discussing it in the open air, plein air painting, right? In the light of day, because it's degenerated into a really ugly, evil condition. I don't want to go on and on about it. What I'll say is that we have a formula. I really appreciate everyone who's been subscribing. I think I'll be at 500 probably by tomorrow morning, thereabouts. Seems like the trains are all in. As long as I keep making the videos and promoting them, and people will keep not spending vulgar amounts of money, just what's available to me. That people will keep subscribing, and it means a lot to me. It does. It's not lost on me. And I know a lot of people, they're not vested. They're not actually vested emotionally, spiritually, in the way that me and Quentin are in this thing. What I'll say is that I've never felt more bifurcated, more divided than now. Right? I haven't been hounding the Burbank International Film Festival like I should, right? Because they're trying to lift this guy up, and I suspect there is a camp in that body, right? Anna McNiven and everyone who, right? That's sincerely asking themselves, is there any validity in what this guy is saying, right? Are we gratifying someone who we should be vilifying? Right? Are we lifting someone up who is, in fact, demonstrably evil? Only you can answer that for yourselves. Right? But my point is that every night is really difficult for me. And we're going to pick back up with the novel, and I found the page, and we're only maybe 40 pages from the end, so it's barreling towards completion. And the writing is really excellent, right? That I'm telling a story, and it's all there, And we'll touch more on that in a second. But right, every single night that I'm at this house, right? And I don't know why the sun gives me some sort of peace of mind. It's not like someone can't shoot through a window during the day, but when my dogs are inside, the evil hours
hover over this house, like we're all, like, and this is true for me, like at his house, right? That we're both just kind of like hovering over and within each other in a really ugly, right, palpably measurable sort of way, right? And my mother and all of my family, of course, they're completely oblivious, and I'm envious, And so now is when the therapist, right? Now is when this skeptic says, "Oh, why do you have to live this way? Like, why do you have to, like, constantly assume that, right, he's going to send people to murder you?" And so the easiest answer is that I don't. I acknowledge that. There it is. But we, the two of us, right, the seven of us, the six of us, like, we have this hive mind now that we're all kind of swimming in the deep ocean of our minds together, right? And so, right, truthfully, they tell me, "Oh, I can't be evil to you. I can't torture you. I can't send people to kill you," right? But these are the same tactics, right? And this is my point, right? That these are the same tactics, right, that let me believe that Quentin had an adult daughter who loves me, right? These are the same tactics that told me, "Oh, I want you to question me about cinema speculation at Tribeca." It's all the same. We're all under the same umbrella, right? And so since I can't trust, there's no trust, right? And this is, right, that's a part of his design. He's not smart enough to have layered it so sophisticated, right? But there's nothing I can do about it. I acknowledge that. There's nothing stopping him from calling some Hollywood fixer, right? And it's really difficult. It's really difficult until I look someone in the eye. Until, right, I see everyone involved, right, eye to eye, person to person, and they say, "Your life is more valuable than profits. Your life is more valuable than Quentin's chic predilections." I'll always have that fear, because he didn't get what he wanted. Didn't get what he wanted in June, right? When I didn't bark like a dog, like a show pony, right? And he hasn't gotten what he wanted now. Me blowing my brains out. And so now that's, right, like, again, right, there's a community, right, that we all exist in all of our minds, right? That there's like 5 or 6 people, right? At least 2 beautiful women, right? I suspect there's 4, in truth. Quentin, Daniela, badass cinema. Maybe a guy, maybe no guy, maybe it's all him. Young guy, my age. Right? But there's nothing I can do about that. I can't. Right? And this brings me to my next point, which was the letter. That I wrote this letter. And on the note of letters, I'll backtrack a little bit and say that play that you just heard the first lines from, right, Measure for Measure, if you're interested in hearing a wonderful version of it, it's on archive.org, right? And so that's with Ralph Richardson as the Duke and John Gielgud as Angelo, right? And so that's the only one I've ever listened to. It's really choice, right? John Gielgud is my favorite Hamlet. He's the ultimate wonderful actor. Right? But I've written so many letters. I've written It's abrasive how much I've written William Morris Endeavor. And I suspect that there are people who are really torn now. Right? I suspect that Mike Simpson and Ari Emanuel are both like that we should never have let this go on, this law. Right? Because I was really nice and reasonable in the beginning. And they indulged Quentin. And now I'm right there, seared into their psyches. Right? It's over. It's over. I don't care what they say. But now they're at a crossroads. Right? They could pay me $3 billion, right? $15 billion. Right? And so what is that? That's Sony, right? They're worth several billion, right? WME, they're worth about 80 billion. Right? Sony Pictures, I guess, well, that's fine. We'll consider those together. Right? Man, they could pay all that money, right? But everything that I said in my previous video is true. That if there's no true reconciliation, that if we just live in this sick, diseased way, I have no choice. I have no choice. He's done so much awful shit to me, right? That you could pay me a bunch of money and I'll take everything down. I'm listening. Right? But, right? You want to not put him in front of me? You want to not put them in front of me? Is that? Oh, so that's, okay, so you want to, okay, there's all the dollars. No. Right? You want to pay me all this money, right? I'm going to take a piece of it. And somebody's going to watch all of you forever. Forever. Just like he has people watching me. That's like, so it's all the same, right? Same. Right? I'm not about to get subjected to perpetual remote viewing observation, right? Perpetual fear, right? That someone's going to torture me with black magic evil. And not put everyone involved in a similar situation. Because it's easy to be evil. And so in that way, I got something at the library. Went to the library today. What was that? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The novelization. I've never read the whole thing, nor will I, but I've read some of it. We're going to talk about that. Right? What have I been saying this entire time? What exactly is this channel about? It's about the fact that all instances of psychic clairvoyance, of remote viewing, of thaumaturgy, is the mind of the adept tapping into the non-locality of the conscious field, which permeates every cubic centimeter of space, evenly distributed in terms of volumetric pressure, and exists perpetually in a state of rest. Right? Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant who remote views people, right? And directs with his mind. This is why I didn't want to write them, right? And the reason I haven't put it in the mail yet, what I'll say about that, right, is that I have to find a jump drive. I'm not about to just send a letter, no half measures, and it's bullshit. I don't need to write them. I've written them 1,000 fucking times. Right? Quentin likes to direct people with his mind, right? And I've been on the business end, right, of his psychic aggression since last June. This is the book that he wrote. This is a novelization of the script, right, that he directed and went on to get nominated for 10 Oscars for, pardon me. Right? right? This is the script where he appropriated Brad Pitt's spousal abuse, right? And helped him win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for beating up his wife on an airplane. What have I said on this channel 1,000 times over? Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant. Quentin Tarantino remote views people, right? Quentin Tarantino lets the women in his life fuck men while he remote views through their eyes, and they close their eyes while they're getting fucked by other men and says, yeah, I'm fucking you. Yeah, you're fucking me, you're not fucking them. Right? Quentin Tarantino sucks feet because he's a base, degenerate asshole. And before I start reading from this book, from his book, right? What I'll say is that I was discussing Joseph Campbell on my previous video, right? About how everything is doubling back, right? That all the chakras, right? They're psychological notions in the mind of man, right? And Quentin sucks feet because he's base. He thinks down here, right? That's unequivocal. There's nothing else to consider there. Right? So, if you've seen the movie, there's Cliff Booth, right? Right? Like Cliff Booth who kills his wife, right? Because Brad Pitt beat up his wife, right? It's the same story. Right? But then there's also, right, and there's Rick Dalton too, right? That's Rick Dalton should have won the Oscar. Right? That's right, like, oh, you want to play the show business game? Like, that's better. That's better. You give the trophy to the guy for beating up his wife? Is that supposed to be high magic? Help me see that. Because everyone in show business understood, like, what that plot was. Right? And you all, right? This is Quentin's evil, right? And so my point, right, before I start reading on his novel, is that I wrote in the letter that I have yet to send to them, but I will, that Quentin is the Antichrist, that they represent the Antichrist. And I've been thinking about that a lot today. I've been thinking about what is the Antichrist? And I gotta say, he kind of checks all the boxes, doesn't he? Right? That he's a popular, powerful figure in the world, right? That he has all this money and this beautiful wife and this beautiful family, right? And he is very charming, and he glorifies violence and makes the public believe that violence is cool through his movies. That's like the definition of the Antichrist, right? So William Morris Endeavor, right? And I don't care, it's none of my fucking business. Right? I live close to God, even if no one else does, that goes to the movies. There's a reason I reached out to him. Right? And so my point, right, so the last point that I'll make, right, is that my anxiety stems from first me trusting him because I appreciated the aesthetic of his films, right? And now, right, is rooted in the certainty that I can't trust anything that they tell me on the psychic landscape. And he's laughing his ass off going, ha, 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 ha. Anyone who's into the same shit that he's into, right? Anyone who casts their allegiances with him around the magic circle, right? Around the heptagram, around the pentagram, right? That you're now co-leagued with high evil. That's it. There's nothing else to consider there. And how do I know that? Here it is, right? Quentin Tarantino is a powerful psychic clairvoyant. He pushes his thoughts and his soul into the minds of anyone that he seeks to occupy, primarily the actors and actresses in his films, right? But anyone, right? He's got a bunch of old tintypes, daguerreotypes, and he time travels in his mind, right? All instances of clairvoyance is the mind of the adept tapping into the non-local resonance of the conscious field, which exists perpetually in a state of rest in all of space. Right? So, what do we know about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I lost track for a second. But Deborah Joe and Manson, right? They're the other piece of it. Right? Manson. Right? So what I'm saying is that Quentin gives Charles Manson, right, the power that he exerts in his mind. And objectivity demands that I say, gosh, well, I don't know. Like maybe Manson really is there, like in the yard, and it's just like clever literary mixed signals. No. Brad Pitt is Cliff Booth. Charles Manson is Quentin Tarantino. That's it. There's nothing else to consider there. So, here it is, page 87. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the novelization. Deborah Jo, knees visibly shaking, slowly approaches the Hirschberg house. She crosses the dew-covered front lawn. She feels the wetness of the grass against the soles of her huge bare feet. And the slight chill is invigorating. When she steps off the lawn onto the concrete pathway that leads toward the backyard gate, she leaves a trail of wet footprints behind her. She reaches her hand over the wooden gate and, quietly as she can, lifts the rusty metal hinge on the other side, pushes the door open, and enters the backyard. Her friends watching from the sidewalk slowly disappear from view. Now, Pussycat is by herself on the Hirschberg's private property. She scans the surroundings. There's a kidney-shaped pool, green grass, a big tree, a couple of picnic tables, and a couple of heavily played-with children's big wheels. But other than the big wheels, the backyard is as nice and neat and manicured as the front of the house. Then the voice of Charlie whispers in her ear, "How's your heart?" in italics. All of Charlie's dialogue is in italics. She quietly answers the voice in her head out loud, beating like a jackhammer. "Calm it down, pussycat," he purrs. "Them jungle drums will wake up the whole damn block. Get a hold of it," he instructs, "and get a hold of yourself. Take in your surroundings." She examines the backyard with a touch more thoughtfulness, her rapid heartbeat ever so slightly decreasing. "Who lives there?" he asks her. "I don't know. The Hirschbergs, I guess. Not their names," he whispers sharply. "Who are they? Do they have kids? Do you see toys?" She looks at the big wheels and nods her head yes. "A lot of toys?" he asks. "A swing set?" "No," she answers. "Just a couple of big wheels." "What does that tell you?" "I don't know. What should it tell me?" "Hey, pretty girl," he gently scolds her. "I'm the one talking in question marks. You're the one answering in periods. Got it?" She nods her head yes. They either have kids or they know kids, Charlie figures. Like maybe grandma and grandpa? "We'll answer that question later. Are they rich?" She nods her head yes. "How do you know?" Charlie challenges. "They live here, don't they?" She says somewhat sarcastically. "Not so fast, pussycat," Charlie warns. "Don't judge a book by its cover, little darling. They could be renters. They could be 4 stewardesses or cocktail waitresses living together, pooling the rent." Then he suddenly asks, "Do they have a pool?" "Yes," she says. "Touch the water." Pussycat creeps across the grass, covering most of the backyard, over to the swimming pool, and then dips her fingers in the water. Once her hand feels the wetness, the voice inside her head asks, "Is it warm?" She nods her head, yes. "Then they're rich," Charlie explains. "Only rich people can afford to heat their pool all the time." And that's good enough to stop right there, right? I'm not interested in supporting Quentin Tarantino's writing. The last line, right? The voice inside her head asks, "Is it warm?" Right? All in italics, right? Gosh, like it's like a literary device. Like, like, no, Quentin's a remote viewing telepath. And he put it in his fucking novel. Just like he put that Brad Pitt's a fucking wife beater in his movie and his novel. Right? Is he the Antichrist? Is he not? Gosh, like I don't know. Oh no, it's all so confusing. Burbank International Film Festival board, like what do I do? He's a degenerate. Give him the trophy. Take your fucking shoes off. My point is that he could have paid me nothing. We wouldn't be here right now. that he thought that he was fucking clever, right? And I'm beginning to suspect more and more that the people around him were like, no, your fucked up mind games are your problem. This is a nice guy. You need to give him a chance. And he said, no, he doesn't suck my ass. He doesn't eat my psychic asshole. No, I don't care that he was going to spend 200 hours building a porch planter. That's the coolest fucking thing any actor ever gave him, ever. Because I felt bad, right? On the crudest levels, I still feel bad. But I don't really feel bad anymore. He's put me through so much, right? And I took everything down and said, no, we're good, right? I'm not fucking with you anymore, and I don't know why we're still playing this game now. That's a certainty with me right now. No bullshit. Magic's done in the light. Right? I could talk to you about like everything that's occurring, right? But why he hasn't paid me or why we haven't reconciled is a mystery to me. I don't understand that. Right? Right? And so everything that I put, again, right? He's a horse's ass. He doesn't understand how to destroy people with his mind. Now he does because I know what time it is. Right? And so, right, that's why we're talking about it. Because everything that he stole from my mind, I can do to him, but he's a fucking pussy and a coward, and he'll send people to murder me if I put that fucking evil on him. And I don't want to do that. I have ethics. I have standards. So, we're talking about it, right? Quentin is a psychic clairvoyant, just like Charles Manson in his book, right? I've written a novel about our experiences. He's been trying to compel me to blow my brains out for over a year now, and he's failed. So, right, I'm not going to spend a lot of time because we've already been going for a while, but then again, I don't give a fuck, so maybe we will. The novel's called Building a Coven. I was just offered a flower on a stem of thorns by a slack-jawed hillbilly. I was just offered a flower on a stem of thorns by a slack-jawed hillbilly bitch. Excuse my French. I am constantly buried in esoteric metaphors. The beauty of the mind, the rose bloom, the lotus, suspended above a thorny stem of flesh. She gave me sincere advice as I left, and to scratch her, said I might be a millionaire, and to think of her if I am. I lament being so cruel in my aesthetic evaluation. My joint is all but gone. I have gotten stoned almost 10 times, never taking more than 2 hits, as now. The sun rebels against its enslavement. Hades brings forth the fires of the night. Hades brings forth the fires of the night. I am apex exhausted, weary beyond imagine. People who can endure these conditions for decades are either nihilists or deeply unwell. Surely we are many generations bred out of such nomadic conditions. If you don't care at all what your life amounts to, if smoking meth until you talk to the air for 5 straight hours is the only joy you need, or your schizophrenia enslaves you inside, it must be a miserable ride for so many of those unfortunates I spend that time with. No purpose or drive, a body, able more often than not, without direction. I know it must always be this way. The necessity of strata. A singularity is not life. It is a perturbation within life, and therefore always similar, never the same. I continue to reflect back on the lotus petals I saw floating in the boggy body of water along the roadside yesterday morning. No bloom, November, but in seeing them, I saw the beauty of the symbol, the blossom rising through the deep waters, emerging in the open air, of truth, of light, as man, in the best of times, I mean. I know I need to head where my blanket is. It is perhaps a 20-minute walk from here, heading out of town, maybe 30. I must go back at least one more day. I'll post my letters tomorrow and speak to who I can about stealing a bed, if only for a night or two. I awoke 1 hour ago, at 4 in the morning, in the same dumpster I slept behind the previous evening, to a single drop of rain on my head just as before. I was considering how much warmer it is tonight than last night, and when I felt the drop it all made sense. The insulation of the clouds overhead kept the temperature trapped. I am reminded of Alaska, where the coldest days of winter, sub-zero, always have the pure, clear sky above. All the moisture in the air has fallen as snow, but as now, here, when clouds blanket the great north, the temperature is always a little more manageable. Bolting upright as fast as my weary body allows, I shuffled everything together and set out towards Humboldt proper. The rain never came, which is a blessing, as now I have the awning in the evening in the event the storm arrives, but it seems calm enough. I have a lot on my mind. These last 36 hours have revealed so much. Trust is such a peculiar thing. 6 people, 2 sets of 3, each Magus concentrating and casting these psychic shadows to manipulate me, each one directing their counterpart. Alistair with Clay, Annabella with Q, Willow with Lisa. The effort is staggering to consider. It costs a lot. The price is high, though I cannot say definitively what it is for any of us. I cursed her on principle. To say, get the fuck out of my head and entertain yourself. I am not a monkey in a cage. I've always been sure that love conquers all, and it does. It has to. It is the only active force in creation. Life always giving of itself, the Ouroboros. Such elaborate tactics, all to avoid simple sincerity, human camaraderie. We have so much in common, all of us. What a mess. The lights have been turned on, harsh hospital lights over the pumps. The nice lady and, I assume, her husband have pulled up and appear to be opening the store. She is very generous and never shuffles me anywhere else. The town has, in truth, yielded mostly kind encounters. I have often been questioned as to my comfort, and at the least been offered kind salutations. Money, not much, but twice now, out of charity, if compelled by pity. I don't know if the booze helped yesterday. I'm aching so much I needed to drink more to have it do anything beyond a brief head change. Variations in latitude. Now I have a good craving buzz. The dawn, maybe 1 hour from now, inches its way towards the inevitable return of the sun. I have my 2 letters, and the shelter nonprofit opens in a few hours around the same time as the post office and the library. I post the letters, go talk to these people. Maybe I can take a shower, the first one in quite some time. I know I'll have to write all of them, which is to say, I don't have to do anything. I suspected last night someone, Willow, fantasized about me blowing my head off. I've often fantasized about suicide, but I'm a coward. Is it their design, their intent, to destroy me? The why. Obviously, the easiest to answer is boredom, which I think must be true for Willow. And though they all know how well read I am, it is also obvious that they were, and still are, affronted by my perception. I have searched for the light of universal truth in the crucible of the mind's eye for almost a decade, seeking stillness, seeking pathways to redemption. And so, when she came at those evil hours to attempt to pilfer my sleeping mind, of course I saw her immediately. I knew what it was. Witchcraft. Sorcery. It is a peculiar corruption, having the means but no depth. A surface manipulation, grounded in all the qualities these forces should be most free of. It's one thing to read a palm and make a buck, wear the gypsy costume, look through your scrying stone, and by cheating glances at the desperation in your clientele's eyes, be able to tell them what they want to hear. The future is better than yesterday and now. Your dog wags its tail in heaven. Your grandmother loves you and is watching over you. These things are harmless, and in truth may be a blessing to some lost person seeking meaning. But to actively engage is deep ritualistic mind-reading psychic theft. Purely for the thrill of the trespass must be nothing beyond evil. What a hobby. What a way to define yourself. Dawn emerges. The pink upon cirrus touch the psychic mists of morning, so says Ignatius. Steady traffic. The beginning of the week. 3 days to Thanksgiving. My third in a row I will likely be alone through. Last night I was afraid to close my eyes, haunted by insight, mystical rhapsody. I have so much I could say, but I have to think, be quiet, seek truth where it lives. My depression spikes. I could just waste away. I've had multiple lifetimes worth of experiences. Nothing seems real to me. I am upset. I still have 2 hours before anything opens. The library and post office in an hour and a half, but the time drags. No serenity, no love, no peace of mind, no family, no friends, no father figures, no connection in anything beyond the page, music, poetry, God. I have always felt alien, apart, removed. The writer's born is surely a zenith, however fleeting. I can remember making a 30-second horror film many years ago. Death by Tire Gauge. A door-to-door tire gauge salesman gets his jugular ruptured by an overpressurized tire gauge he demonstrates his wear on. It was funny. It is funny, if extant somewhere. We shot it in front of a Frank Lloyd Wright house. They were very accommodating, allowing us to use the threshold so long as we didn't interrupt the tour. And while I had to exclaim to the public at large, a loud, blood-curdling scream was imminent, it was a fun time. Thoughts coagulate and dissipate. All my favorite memories involve the arts. I don't know what I want to say. 1 hour until I can post my letters. The weather is a kind of perfect. Smoking one of my last 4 cigarettes, I am appalled at the condition of my hands, my body overall. Grime exterior to match my clouded soul. Aching. The pain of it all, within as without. Everything is upside down. I feel alone. I am alone. I'll stop there. It's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino on the psychic frontier, right? It's revealed in this book, right, that Charles Manson plays psychic mentalism, telepathy games with Pussycat, right? This is, right, like Brad Pitt is Cliff Booth, Quentin Tarantino is Charles Manson. Oh, look how fucking clever I am. Right? So, now we're talking about it. Right? William Morris Endeavor is a pathological, amoral establishment, right, that accepted some 15 pages of love poetry from me to a daughter who doesn't exist, right, and felt that it was appropriate to say nothing. And now I see, right? He said, oh no, he's insane. That guy's insane. He didn't give me what I wanted. And then when, right, I sent the poetry, right, because the woman was given to me in the same manner, right, that he espouses in this book. He said, oh, see, look, my daughter's a little girl, right? She's such a sweet little, right? And he put an ugly psychic malignancy of thought over a beautiful little girl. Right? And so my prophecy, right? I prophesy, right? That she's going to be a nasty fucking bitch if this thing, right? If I get killed, right? If something ugly happens to me or we never reconcile, nah, it's too ugly. It's too ugly. He needs to put her in front of me. And that's not even mentioning right? The curse that I put on, like the psychic witch who stole all my secrets that he told me was his daughter, right? And so now, right, this is my point, right? I'm not a degenerate. I want to put eyes on her. I know exactly what to do, right? I'm going to give her one of these. I betray no order. And I'm going to teach her how to make a circle. And I'm going to take my time and make sure that she knows exactly what to do. I'll get her a small one. That's a big one. Right? And that's, right? Or he could just be a Hollywood jackass and say, no, my psychic energy is the only one that does anything. Right? Which again is just arrogance. Right? And what I'll say about those pages, right? Those fucking pages are so good. Right? That this is not, that's fucking good literature. Right? And madness doesn't work that way. Right? There's the book, which led to the book, Building a Coven, right? It's all the same tactics. Right? He's not clever, he just thinks he is. But he might actually be the Antichrist. So, I suppose I'll sing a song. I don't really know what else to say. I've been going for 40 fucking minutes. Right? You all understand my anxiety now. Right? That I was told so much. The first of it was true. Right? That he wants me to interview him about cinema speculation. Right? Which is, I have the book. Right? He signed it. It's just out of frame here. Right? But when I didn't eat his ass. Right? Then he told me, I hate you. And then he told me, oh, there's this girl, right? And she's my daughter, right? That she loves you, right? Oh, that the Discovery Institute wants to help you play Hamlet, right? And this is the novel, right? Like this is everything I wrote down, right? Right? All through the same tactics that are in this novel, right? Right? And so now I live in perpetual anxiety because I see that he's just a sick, degenerate, evil man. And I can't trust anything that, right? My point being that he is always telling me, oh, I can't kill you. I can't kill you. Right? Oh, so is that, like I'm supposed to believe that? That's the one that I believe. Right? And he only told me he has no daughter because I turned it all on him. This is, right? Like this is, right? The Millennial Dragon, the psychic scientist. Right? That's the only reason. He didn't tell me because he grew a heart. Right? He told me because I turned it all on him and poisoned his mind. So, right? Original song. Beside himself as he steps towards the door. He pours right in to claim his prize just like he'd claimed before. The man inside, though sick and ill, held steadfast and shot. His so-called friends in undertake and left him there to rot. So farewell. Sirens drawing near. At that time he wished more than ever he could meet them away from here. When they came they dragged his dying body inside the car. His so-called friends washed away their sin quietly from afar. So farewell.
Personality, nobody tells you. Genetics will always bring you down. A dream that I'm normal, a dream that I'm filled with reciprocity. Get so lonely with no one to lay there by your side. Felt like I needed it, I wanted it so bad. I thought I was strong, I thought it would work out fine. I tried.
So, right? Pray for me. Pray for Quentin. Pray to bring this to an amicable resolution. Otherwise, we're perpetually mortal enemies. See what's good in your life. Know that life is not an accident. All life derives from a divine, abstract, intellectual origin. And through prayer and meditation, you can hold that in yourself and be the ultimate relay back to the divine origin. Like, comment, subscribe, share. God bless. The weekends are always tough, so please, right? Help spread the word. Help bring this to a resolution. We'll see you tomorrow.